Everyone's in? Okay, welcome. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming to my session. It's my fourth 180 session. My name is Tash. I am a DJ, record collector, presenter with a passion and a love for Afro-Caribbean music, kind of more underground, electronic-y, weirder stuff, but also, of course, dancehall, calypso, soca, merengue, samba, all of that stuff. I love rhythm, I love percussion. That's the kind of music I grew up on, and I continue to champion it in the work that I do now as a grown-up. So for this session, we are going to be digging into dancehall. A genre that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, and if you're not, then we're going to do some learning today. My relationship with dancehall is I grew up in a Caribbean family, so my mum and dad, my mum's dad is Indo-Caribbean, Indian Caribbean, and then from St. Vincent, and dad's parents are Jamaican and her mum's Jamaican, but they're both very British, my parents, so like they only never listened to Jamaican music, really. Always like house, funky house. Dad loved Brazilian music, samba, everything but Jamaican music, basically. Just was not in the house. Well, not their vibe at all. So like I'd hear it when I'd go to parties, like around my grandma's, at like 9 nights, at hall parties and stuff like that. But growing up, I was like, I don't like this music. And then grew up and then started kind of going on my own musical journey and then re-listened to Jamaican music and was like, oh my God. And so kind of my relationship with it has been pretty non-linear, I would say, but obviously now I love it dearly. Obviously it felt a little bit off doing the session today in the wake of what's been going on, but hopefully you guys have seen outside. We put up a QR code to help support, if you can, an organisation over in St. Elizabeth, where my grandma's from, that my friend Biggs has put together a really wicked fund that's helping to rebuild the Women's Centre over there in Treasure Beach. So if you're able to donate, that would be amazing, because we can't just celebrate the music of Jamaica without recognising what Jamaicans are experiencing at the moment as well. And Jamaica is just, I just always am so fascinated by it. It's such a small island, it has such a huge impact on the world. Like, it's actually crazy. Like, there's nowhere that I've been or any music scene that I've been around, wherever I'm in the world, that isn't impacted in some way by Jamaican music. It's crazy how far its reach is. But yeah, today we're going to focus on dancehall, start off in the 70s, then go to 80s, then 90s, then 2000s. Hopefully we can get there. I have got some notes. I don't know all this stuff off by heart, unfortunately. I've not got a good memory. So I'm going to give you some insight into what dancehall is and its foundation. So dancehall is a genre of Jamaican popular music that originated in the late 1970s. Used to be a more sparse version of reggae than the root style, which dominated much of the 1970s. And the name comes from the two words dance and hall, referring to the common venue where the dances are held, joining together to form dancehall. At the time, digital instrumentation became way more prevalent, which changed the sound considerably, with digi-dancehall or ragga becoming increasingly characterized by faster rhythms. The key elements of dancehall include its extensive use of Jamaican patois rather than Jamaican Standard English, and a focus on track instrumentals or rhythms. Dancehall saw initial mainstream success in the 80s, and then by the 90s it had become increasingly popular in Jamaica's diaspora communities, and then receiving worldwide accolade in the 2000s, and by the 2010s it received way more influence from Western artists and producers. Themes of social injustice, repatriation, and the Rastafari movement that was prevalent in reggae became taken over by lyrics about dancing, violence, and sexuality. Dancehall was predominantly played on sound systems in the 80s like Kilimanjaro, Black Scorpio, Silverhawk, Gemini Disco, Virgo Hi-Fi, Volcano Power, and Aces International, with the older toasters taken over by new stars like Captain Sinbad, Rankin Joe, Clint Eastwood, Lone Ranger, Charlie Chaplin, General Echo, and Yellowman. And the three major elements of Jamaican dancehall music are the use of digi-instruments like the Casio Tone MT40 electronic keyboard, the Oberheim DX drum machine, and the use of rhythms and instrumentals to which lyrics are adding. Of course, you'll recognise in a bit that I will play Under Miss Sleng Teng, the iconic rhythm that was created in 1985, whose successes made the accessibility of digi-composed rhythms apparent. There are many incredible dancehall artists, including some on this compilation, which is definitely a fundamental one, which came out on Studio One Dancehall, so Coxzone in the Dance, the Foundation Sound. And this compilation maps a lot of kind of 78, 79 dancehall into more kind of mid-80s stuff. So So let's start off with something from 78, and you'll probably recognize this rhythm from Uptown Top Ranking. But this one is DJ Dawn and the Ranking Queens, Peace, Truth, Thing.
I'm still in love with you, that's Top Ranking.
Yeah. Top Ranking. It's both. Top Ranking.
If you do the wrong thing, you'll get a good spanking. If a peace and love you a bring, you a feel with Top Ranking. In a this your peace you sting.
So that was DJ Dawn and the Ranking Queens. That one, 1978, Studio One, produced by Sir Coxzone. That one was Peace, Truth, Thing. All right. Now we're going to move on to another icon, a legend who goes by the name of Eek-A-Mouse. Big, tall Eek-A-Mouse, all 6'4" of him. You might recognize his track Ganja Smuggling, which was extremely, extremely controversial at the time. And Wadu Dem. This one was recorded live at Reggae Sunsplash, Thursday, August the 5th and Saturday, August the 7th, 1982. Ika had such a unique way of DJing, which DJing was not the same thing as it is now in Jamaican culture. It's an MC, same thing as an MC. So he was super unique. He'd make these like mad noises and so charismatic. I watched a video earlier of him performing this whole performance at Sunsplash, and he just carries himself in such a way, and he's suited and booted, and then he's just so sick, and you can't help but just be drawn in by him. And he's got so much attitude, so much confidence, and I really, really love this record. He was one of the earliest reggae artists to ever be described as a sing-jay, and he became known as Eek-A-Mouse after a racehorse which he frequently lost money on. And when the horse finally won a race, he had, of course, refused to back it. So we're going to play a track from this wicked record, Eek-A-Mouse live at Sunsplash. The track we're going to run with is Thank You, Jah.
Yeah, you know, give thanks.
Take the job.
This one is to you and you.
Special invitation, y'all.
Come and say whether we not grieve or whether happiness. Now whether we not grieve or whether happiness. Say Jaja is the man, me say you really got some bless. Jah is the man, me say you really got some bless. Thank you, Jah. Thank you, Jah. Thank you, Jah, Jah, when we are today. With the health and strength in the morning. And Jah, Jah, guide and protect me in the evening. Because my things get so bad, you said you have been tested. Now things get so bad, you said you have been tested. But when they get so great, they say you have progress. Tell them. When they get so great, they say you got some progress. So, pray mama, pray papa, pray to Jah Jah when we are today. For the health and strength in the morning, Jah Jah guide and protect in the evening. Because me sat up on the corner with me hand on me jaw. Sat up on the corner with me hand to me jaw. I was real to Jah Jah that I never get so wrong. Real to Jah Jah that I never get so wrong. And thank you, Jah. Thank you, Jah. Thank you, Jah Jah, when we are today. For the health and strength in the morning. And Jah Jah guide and protect me in the evening. Come me say whether you be happy or whether you be sad. Now whether you be happy or whether you be sad. We got to give thanks unto the Almighty God. Got to give thanks unto the Almighty God. So, pray mama, pray papa, pray to Jah Jah when we are today. For the health and strength in the morning. And Jah Jah guide and protect in the evening. Now me say some may be fatter, me say some may be slim. Now some may be fatter, me say some may be slim. But we got to give your praise unto the Almighty King. Got to give your praise unto the Almighty King. Because a good is all they got to me say good is all they bring. And a Jah Jah wisdom and to keep you going and take. So thank you Jah, thank you Jah, thank you Jah Jah when we are today. The health and strength in the morning. And Jah Jah guide and protect in the evening. Come here, thank you Jah. Come and say good things come to those who really, really wait. Now good things come to those who really, really wait. And a Jah Jah is the man me say you got to appreciate. And a Jah Jah is the man me say you got to appreciate. So thank you Jah, thank you Jah, thank you Jah Jah when we are today. For the health and strength in the morning. Jaja guide and protect in the evening. I want ya, yeah, I want ya, oh yeah. Style, style, how I really love this song. See, whoa, whoa, whoa. How I really love this song. Style, wali, wale. Style, wali, walo. How I really love this song. But I really have to go. Right. Lord, I really have to go. Then on him, tell him, on him, tell him, on him, tell him, on him. Yeah, you know. Michigan and Smiley. Let's hear it from Michigan and Smiley. What do you say from Michigan?
E-commerce. That one was Thank You Jah, live at Reggae Suns. If you can also pass the records back when you finish looking at them so I can put them away, that would be great, because I get so mixed up otherwise. Next on to, now we're looking at a bit of a shift in the sound into what is known in Jamaican music culture as slackness, which is like when dancehall started to really turn bad and dirty and more like violent and more sexual, and obviously wasn't that favoured by conservatives. And I guess a bit more like young and cheeky, but also equally could be quite problematic in there also could be a lot of homophobia as well, and a lot of encouragement of violence, and it just started to become a bit more like bad talk, I guess. And Clint Eastwood was one of those artists that sort of mapped that change into the kind of slackness from cultural chants. Also just the name is just so ridiculous. I love it as well. Like it's just, and the attitude and the style. But his style is a lot more kind of like a bit dirtier as it starts to become more into the dancehall that we recognise now. And I think there's more of like an attitude and an energy in here that feels a lot more kind of like modern. This is from 1984 on Culture Press. And apparently Clint Eastwood's UK publicist, the actual actor Clint Eastwood, disapproved of his growing fame and implied that it might be damaging to the original Man with No Name's name. But apparently Clint Eastwood laughed it off as a publicity stunt. But it was not all fun and games, and there was a serious side to Eastwood and saying in accordance with these serious times. So from this record, we're going to play a track called Move Your Foot. Every track on here is wicked, but let's go with Move Your Foot.
Sometimes you're the chooser, and sometimes you also refuser. But if you don't stop what you're doing, you ain't gonna be a chooser, you see? Move for your foot and make me put for me. Move for your foot and make me put for me. Because me wear size 7. Boy, say this a 7 can't fit you. Man under the 8 I go squeeze you. Lord me say that 9 grind burn you. Lord me say that 10 grind brush you. And that the 11 grind squeeze you. And that the 12 grind refuse you. Said if they move for your foot and make me put for me. Move for your foot and make me put for me. God is a 7 can't fit you. Not under the 8 grind burn you. Not under the 9 grind squeeze you. Not under the 10 grind bruise you. Not under the 12 refuse you. you, you know.
What? That one from the best of Clint Eastwood, Move Your Foot. All about foot size, apparently. And now on to Dillinger, born in Kingston in 1953, known for his humorous lyrics. He worked with people like Sir Coxsone Dodd, Augustus Pablo, and Nini Holness. And this one is a big tune from him called Woody Woodpecker. I think also what I find really fascinating with like more of the like late 70s, 80s stuff is that although it kind of sounds like dub and reggae, it's more the lyrics that are changing, I guess, from consciousness into more slackness. And like it's more the energy because the instruments and the rhythms kind of still sound like they could be dub, right? And then that gradually changes more and more as you'll hear in a bit as we start to get into like Steely and Clivey and more 90s producers. But definitely feels like the focus is more on the lyrical changes at the start of dancehall, which is cool.
This one call Rhythm 2 of the musical sounds call Woody Woodpecker. So don't call me Chubby Checker. Big about what did you say? Chicky Pong say so.
Mad. Woody Woodpecker, Dillinger. Prime example of the voice as an instrument, right? So sick. All right, now on to another legend who you may recognize goes by the name of a Yellow Man. You may know a song called Zungu 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 Zeng. Anyone? Yeah? Okay, a couple of you, maybe. This is, I think, my favorite Yellow Man record. This one is called Divorced, Yellow Man and Fathead, and it's 1983 on Long Willow. Now, Yellow Man is a very special artist because he was born with albinism, so he grew up in an orphanage, grew up pretty poor, was very much ostracized by a lot of people, didn't have many friends, and really had to fight to be heard and to be recognized, I guess, even as human, let alone as the artist that he became. He said of his upbringing and his life, "Them never liked me. In my days, they called us Dundus. Internationally, they call us albino, mulatto, Dundus, all sorts of names. And Yellow Man was one of the discrimination names, so that becomes national. So everybody pick up the name and say, it's a very catchy name. From that till now, them call me Yellow Man and King Yellow Man." And that's what I love about Jamaicans, is we take the piss out of ourselves and just out of everything. It's just like, I'm just going to reclaim it then and just use it. It's going to be my name. I'm Yellow Man now. He was one of the most verbally nimble toasters at the time, with an easy flow and a proper talent for improvisation. And I had the pleasure of getting to see him in Jazz Cafe maybe last year, I think it was. And he sounded a bit rough, I can't lie. You know, he's been through a lot. He's had mouth cancer. I think he was told in the 80s that he had 6 months to live. And look at him now, like he's still touring, still going strong, and it was just amazing to see such a legend like in the flesh. He's mad. He's like also so like fit. And Yellow Man is another one of those artists that just really, really has shaped dancehall, like big time shaped dancehall. And this album with Fathead is just, it says it on here actually, I'll read the description on here. Yellow Man is one of the Jamaican success stories of the 80s, and on this album, he teams up with his partner Fathead for their second British release as a duo. Originally released in Jamaica under the title For Your Eyes Only, this British pressing contains 2 extra titles, Divorced and Sometime Is Lie. An album which will further enhance the career of a duo with a great sense of humour and totally original style. And I agree. I think Divorced is my favourite track on here. I play that all the time, but maybe we'll play... Oh, I do love Tourist Season as well. Let's go with Tourist Season. This one is 1983.
Hi, this is Yellow Man, and I would like to welcome all visitors to Jamaica, and hope you enjoy yourself. Okay? Do it, y'all. With the tourist season, correct, I know we are not tourists and go reason. Cause when we say, with the tourist season, Choman, we are not tourists and go reason, you know? Because this is our island, in the sun. This is our island, in the sun. We plant sugar cane, some give it where we gonna. They carry it to Jamaica and go shoot them brother down. Cause how can the Yellow Man have some fun? And this a tourist season. Correct, I know we are not tourists and go reason. Cause when me say, we're a tourist season. Choman, we are not tourists and go reason, y'all.
Tourists them say out Jamaica sweet. Cause when them come, them have the pretty good beach. The tourists stop out Jamaica sweet. And when them come to Jamaica, them go to the beach. Cause me and Yellow Man, we so the DJ so sweet. Some people just ask how we do it. The red from we mouth and the mic in our honor. And dedication to all tourists, man. It's a tourist season. Correct, I know me and a tourist are go reason. Say tourist season. Correct, I know me and a tourist are go season. And when me say, can't tell you about John, make a matter. Cause this is our island, in the sun. Out of many, me say we are one. Say special request to visitor in the island. Cause this one coming from Fathead and Yellow Man. Can't tell you say we catch this one in your honor. But the tourist season, say we are not tourists of a reason. And when we say the tourist season, correct, I know we are not
a tourist a go reason. Tourists come and a tourist go. Say tourists go and a tourist come. But when them come, them bother shoot them down. Them come to Jamaica, we all have fun. Cause sometimes sugar, me say sometimes tea. Them come to Jamaica, we have to make them happy. This a tourist season. Come let me tell you guys, a tourist a go reason. And when me say, it's a tourist season. Right now we are the tourist a go reason. And when me say, Jamaican dish, a casual fish. Cause your little wishes when you give me a kiss. You give me a kiss from me beautiful lips. Tourist season. Correct, I know this a not tourist a go reason. Say, this a tourist season. Right, I know me a not tourist a go reason. I when me say, come from America, some come from England. Just come to tour our little island. This a tourist
Season. Is that one a bit more of a reggae dancehall number? From Fathead and Yellowman. All right, let's get into some women because there's some bad women in Meaning Good, in dancehall. And this is a tune that actually was re-released on a label called Rhythm Discs in 2022. Originally came out in 1982 by Sister Candy, who I don't know much about and couldn't find that much about, but the track's called Keep Bubbling, and it's a big banger. There's a disco mix on here, and there's a DJ Sports remix, but let's get into the disco mix, that's my favourite. But there were many incredible women in dancehall, and still are, of course, to this day, pioneers like Lady Saw, Lady Junie, and we have Spice, who I've got a record from too in a bit, but we must not forget about women, and of course, Sister Nancy, the queen, our queen. But I think it's very easy for women to get eradicated. But what I love about women in dancehall too is so much of the lyrics, their lyrics is a response to the misogyny and the sexism within dancehall. And there's just like such an embodiment of like power and just reclaiming so much of that in their sexuality and stuff. So yeah, cannot eradicate the women out of dancehall. This one, Keep Bubbling, Sister Candy.
Me have but me no fat no jelly. No, me know me have me just a DJ no stop. No, me know that me have yes with the cream and the crack. Me wicked and me wild and me we versatile. Oh yes, me wicked and me wild and me we versatile. Inna the dance and me chat it in time. Me wanna be inna the dance, they da ball on me what? I don't walk on street, committing a crime. I got to work each day from a 9 to 5. You know I need the list of parties. It's very fun. Now when I finish off my clothes, I hang it on the line. I would dash with the rhino. When I'm washing my chicken, wash it with some lime. Man, if I rice and peas on Sunday, add a little bit of time. And I take cocaine, it'll blow my mind. I got something good sense, it anytime. I used to be wicked and me wild and me we versatile. I used to be wicked and me wild and me we versatile. You hear me? Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank. The new dance nowadays is to walk and scam. When you're doing that, you look like you a top round. And now you're hipper, your hand on your side. Move for your foot, you got to move your waistline. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank. I like too much horror cause it gives me thrills. I also get enough money but it all cause a bill. Because of the fishes in the sea, they have 2 fins. So when you tell your mama lie, you know you commit a sin. Cause you know me no fat, you can see semi-slim. I Sister Caddy just a ride the rhythm. Oh yes, me wicked and me wild and me we versatile. Oh yes, me wicked and me wild and me we versatile. You hear me? Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank. The new dance nowadays is to walk and skank. When you're doing that, you look like you a top round. And now you're hipper, your hand on your side. Move for your foot, you got to move your waistline. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank it bubbling. Walk and skank it, name the walk and skank. And I me know me have but me no want by no cup. Love me know no fat, no dreadlock. Lord, me know, me hot, me just a DJ non-stop. Lord, me know that me hot, yes, with the cream of the crop. Call me wicked and me wild and me versatile. Yes, me wicked and me wild and me versatile. Call me wicked, me wild and me versatile. Yes, me wicked and me wild and me versatile. Yes, me wicked, me wild and me versatile. Yes, me wicked and me wild and me versatile. Keep on it. Keep on it. Flash it up. Mash it up. Keep on it. 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 Keep on it.
Tune.
Yeah.
Big tune. That one was produced by Sir Coxzone, again, out on Rhythm Discs. There's no cover for it, but you can come take pictures of stuff after if you like. All right, let's get into an anthem, one that is instantly recognizable by a woman who goes by the name of Sister Nancy. She was born in 1962 on the 2nd of January, O'Flynn Russell Myers, and was the world's first female dancehall DJ. She went on to perform at Reggae Sunsplash, which made her the first ever female DJ to perform there. And she's also the first ever international Jamaican DJ to tour internationally, which is crazy. Bam Bam has been sampled so many times, countless times by so many people, but classically, she wasn't paid. And after being a bank accountant for 15 years, she then retired from the profession and has shifted her focus to pursuing music full-time again now that she re-owns the rights to her music, which I think has only happened in the last few years. But this song has, been sampled so much, been rinsed so much, and she never got her dues until recently. Which is a massive shame, but unfortunately all too commonplace. But I also got to see her play at City Splash, which is a festival in London, a few years ago, and one of the best performances I've ever seen. Honestly, I think the thing that also gets me with a lot of these dancehall artists is I'm like, wow, you're like my parents' age, not even old. Like some of them are like late 50s, and I'm like, you've actually made so many bangers and made such an impact. I'm like, this is crazy. Like only born in 1962, but yeah, she's still going strong, absolute queen, and yeah, this track is just loved globally, so recognizable. We'll play both. We'll play the vocal and the version. Vocal is obviously Sister Nancy, and the rhythm is by the Techniques All Stars. This one, 1982, Bam Bam, Sister Nancy.
Think on a bam bam, look what's on Jamaican, little different style, different fashion, you know? Tell me say one thing Nancy can't understand. One thing Nancy can't understand. What make them a talk about me ambition? Say what make them a talk about me ambition? Come and say some of them a ask me where me get it from. Just some of them a ask me where me get it from. I told them no, it's from creation. I told them no, it's from creation. Bam bam, hey yo, what a bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, bam bam dilang, bam bam, hey, what a bam bam, ta what a bam bam. This woman never trouble no one. I'm a lady, I'm not a man. MC is my ambition. I come free nice up Jamaican. So bam bam, ta what a bam bam, bam 6. I Nancy write the Christmas lyrics. When you hear them, you sound like Christy Biscuit. You come in at the place and me say, well, slick. He bum bum, hey yo. Ta-wa-ta, bam bam, bam bam bilang, bam bam, bam bam bilang, bam bam, hey yo. Ta-wa-ta, bam bam, hey yo. Say what-ta, bam bam. That's some of them a sing you a come and chant them plan. I told them no me a one business woman. Sister Nancy she a 1 in a 3 million. Sister Nancy she a 1 in a 3 million. So bam bam, say what a bam bam, bam bam bilang, bam bam, bam bam bilang, bam bam, hey. Say go Sister Nancy make you go. I tell you say fi go, Sister Nancy make you go. I know it from me head straight down to my toes. I teach her down, Sister Nancy and the go. And some of them a ask her, Sister Nancy make you bad song. Long down the list, Sister Nancy make you bad song. He bam bam, what a bam bam. He bam bam bilang, bam bam. He bam bam bilang, bam bam. What a bam bam. Hey yo, tell me say what a bam bam. This woman, I never trouble no one. I'm a lady, I'm not a man. MC is my ambition. I come feel nice up Jamaican. So bam bam, say what a bam bam, bam bam bilang, bam bam, bam bam bilang.
Tune of tunes of tunes of tunes. I'm an MC with ambition. All right, let's play Stalag, the version, because we have to pay some respect to the versions, of course. Techniques All Stars. But like, you could just like lay on the floor like. So nice. Techniques. Oh. All Stars, Stalag, the version. All right, I think I'm gonna play one more 80s before we, this is late 70s, before we move on to 90s. So this is 1986, actually, sorry, I meant 80s. And I love this tune. This is by a woman called Sister Junie, also known as Lady Junie, also known as Sister June. And I actually first really fell in love with another version of the track, which was Echo Minor, to Tell You What Police Can... not Tell You What Police Can Do. It was... basically a version of this, which was this is a response to that, which I actually realized when I listened to it again. I was like, oh, this is actually about domestic abuse, and it's actually really peak. And he was glorifying it in his song. And then when I listened to the lyrics again, and then I found this track, and she's combating his tune, and then she's like, I'll tell you what police can do. And again, it's another example of a woman just reclaiming the bullshit, basically, and being like, I will have you, basically. I'll thump you up. I'll set you up. And I love it because it's just a classic quintessential essence of Jamaicanness. Produced by Prince Jammy on Jammy's Records, which is a super iconic label run by Prince Jammy. I've got many Jammy's records, try and play some more, but out of his studio came so much gold, including this one. The version is by Bobby Digital and Jammies, and I'm going to play the vocal. This one, 1986, Tell You What Police Can Do by Lady Junie.
Lady Junie, come here, man. Oh, yeah, it's a black and blue, man.
Me and my man was fighting, and it wasn't no misunderstanding. In top me na me eye make it black and blue, so me go tell the police for true. Man after me wash and cook for you. Me press out your shirt, make it look brand new. Give you lot of loving that's romantic for true. When me take a sack, you gone with Mary Lou. Me puff up me face, get jealous and a screw. Me run go to the police, go tell him for true. But me I go tell you what police can do. Me I go tell you what police can do.
Idol. That one, Lady Jeannie. I'm going to play the version too because it's one of my all-time favourite versions. Bobby Digital. So can you like hear the shift now in the sound as the Casios come in and the synths come in and then Digi Dancehall is born. And this next track, another Digi Dancehall anthem by Tenor Saw, it's called Pumpkin Belly. And actually did not realise until doing my research that he died at 22 in a car crash, which is crazy. But this one came out in 1985, produced by King Jammy. A song of the old-time proverbs, sings Tenor Saw. How water walk in a pumpkin belly? Who asked me that? I'm an old-time granny. Tenor Saw's granny is saying that he will soon find out what he doesn't know now, how water gets inside a pumpkin belly. Furthermore, it is a metaphor for pregnancy. In other words, nobody knows how or by whom a young girl got pregnant. It also features references to Sugar Belly, the legendary sax player. It brings it into further reinforcing the sense of tradition, but bringing it into the modern world by delivering over the brutal modern backing track, the epochal Sleng Teng rhythm, the first ever all-digital rhythm. So iconic vocals and iconic tune. This one, Pumpkin Belly, produced by King Jammy, 1985.
This is a song of the old time proverbs, yeah. This is a song of the old time proverbs. Hey, hey, oh what a walk, oh a pumpkin belly. Whoa, whoa. Who asked me that? Know me old time granny from down in the country. She says, "Saw how wanna know. Sister Song, I wanna know. Oh, what a walk, oh, a pumpkin belly. Lord God have mercy. Hey, who walks me that know me old time granny from down in the country? Grandma, oh yes I know. I won't tell you now. Sister Song, seem like a selling gal. Seem like a selling whole gal. Oh, what a walk, oh, a pumpkin belly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who walks me that know me old time granny from down in a country? That was a whole time Proverbs. That was a whole time Proverbs. That was a whole time Lord Proverbs. Whoa. She say you must see think so. Queen of England sit on control. Think so, sugar, sugar belly became the king on the saxophone. Whatsoever you want, you got to work very hard to gain. Yeah. Whatsoever you want, she said, I've got to work hard, hard to gain, yeah, to gain, yeah. I really got to work very hard to gain. So, oh, what a walk, oh, a pumpkin belly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who walks me that know me old time granny from down in the country? Sister Saw, you must be going on like a channel. Whoa, I said no, grandma. I knew, but anyhow I won't tell you now. Sister son, don't sell no cow. I want you to tell me now. What you say, hey? Oh, what a walk, oh, a pumpkin belly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who walks me that know me old time granny? Hey, hey, hey. But grandma, I am young. You better have sympathy. So it would be better if you ask my mommy. Hey, hey. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, a pumpkin belly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Who walks me that know me old?
Damn, Granny. Tune.
Believe me, it's up.
Another tune. Bare tunes on there. Probably the most recognizable is Wayne Smith's Under Miss Lane Ting, which is also, of course, on that rhythm, which you should definitely go check out. But also got Yellow Man on here, Reggie Stepper, Murder She Wrote, which I'll play in a bit. We've got Pinchers. Yeah, big tunes on this compilation. Shout out Studio One at Soul Jazz, always coming through with the things. All right. And now we're moving on to the 90s, early 90s. This specifically is, I think, 1990, yeah, on Wild Apache Productions with an artist called Supercat. Raised in Kingston's tough Self-Right Gardens neighborhood, then known as Cockburn Pen, a hotbed of dancehall reggae and home to groundbreaking DJs like Prince, Jaspo and U-Roy. He came roaring out of Jamaica in the 80s, blazing a new trail through the dancehall reggae scene with tracks like Ghetto Red Hot, Nuff Man A Dead, Boops and Dolly My Baby, and was one of the first Jamaican DJs to break it in the US market, helping pioneer a fusion of dancehall with hip-hop and R&B. And he's worked with huge people, from Heavy D to Mary J. Blige to Wu-Tang Clan's Method Man and DJ Muggs from Cypress Hill. Super outspoken on his attitude to politics, sex, drugs and violence. And again, another artist that is so stylish. Supercat is definitely one of my favorites. He's just got such a unique swagger to him. And I think with this era of dancehall, you can really feel that American fusion coming in. And this is actually a version, this is my favorite Supercat track that I found the other day at Flashback. It's a version of it, a New York mix, or is it the Jamaican mix? I mean, it sounds like the original. I feel like it's slightly different, but anyways, I believe it's his label, Wild Apache. This is a big tune. Don Dada, Supercat.
Yeah, man. You see some little boy I come talk about gold teeth, front teeth, side teeth, color teeth, I will pull all the teeth. And if you don't like it, the whole night to your face, my 45 beat, you see? Dog on do it. Follow me now, follow me now, follow me now. Chaman away, they want to ram it up. I miss a cat away, they want to ram it up. And all the dog outside and them a touch it up. From over stereo man, sound away, them pick it up. When Burro Banton and they must a tear it up. I miss a cat in the crowd and them a rip it up. From Dan Dada, for y'all DJ, miss a cat a Dan Dada. Go tell it to your sister, your brother and mother. The boy no got this super cat and follow. The youth a jamming like a Gabriel Amma. This a youth a come fi juke them like a Satan Maka. Jamming me come fi lick like a Sterling chopper. You see the general, you come fi talk to me proper. For anytime me come fi deal with the matter. Hear me now, do me say dog eat your supper. Come listen, miss a cat pan the rhythm, me sata. Me lay down on the rhythm like a chop and tire. And circling on the rhythm like a pot pan fire. You sleep on wire, me we sleep in fire. And anytime me come, me say the place catch a fire. Five, but away they want to ram it up. Jaman the general, they want to go ram it up. And all the dog outside and them a touch it up. From over stereo man, sound away them pick it up. When Burro Banton and I tell us I mash it up. I miss a cat in the crow and them a tear it up. Say dan dada, dan da dan dada, dan 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 dada. For y'all of the DJ, miss a cat a dan dada. A gold teeth front teeth, me say back down to Shabba. The boy no got the super cat and falla. I tell you this a youth where the junglist falla. I tell you this a youth where the Spanglers falla. I tell you this a youth where the uptown a falla. I tell you this a youth where the Marlers falla. I tell you this a youth where the Firehouse falla. And downtown and uptown and down in a Warwick. The boy no got the super cat and falla. I walk from jungle, go straight over Rima. Gun in your back and the chop in a host. That's on my front teeth, but we are done dada. The boy no got the cyanide and falla. But this is not DNA, no stock here copper. I tell you about salt and me virgin name pepper. When salt get salt, then a pepper get hotter. And one of them a end up in a hospital stretcher. The next danger man, him name it coming at the cleaner. Hear me now, youth, you fi put down the chopper. I stop out your friend and talk, but you have the bomber. I tell you this, a youth have the nuclear power. The minute, every time, every night, every hour. And when them say the general, them have to take cover. Come away, them want to ram it up. Chaman away, them want to ram it up. And now the dog outside and them a touch it up. From over stereo man, sound away, them pick it up. When Burro Banton and I tell us to rip it up. And miss a cat in the back and them a tear it up. Say dan dada, dan da dan 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 dada dan dada. For y'all of the DJ, get a dan dada. Front teeth, gold teeth, me say straight back to Shabba. Go tell it to your sister, your virgin and mother. And tell it to the crew on the road where you follow. We just out the nozzle and the stopper and the bomber. I tell you this a youth have the nuclear power. This a youth you come fi stop them like a Tarzan dagger. This a youth you come fi juke them like a Satan Maka. But tell you this a youth Jaja know a dan dada, dan da dan dada, dan 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 dada. The boy no got the super cat and falla. Me lay down on the rhythm like Chubin tire. And circling on the rhythm like pot pan fire. And anytime me come, me say the place catch a fire. You sleep on wire where we sleep in fire.
Tune. Tune. I've got like a jokes quote about his style. What did he say? He said, over the years, I and the great Nicodemus like to rock them Italian boot and kick them great Italian suit. Sometimes you have to remind the people that we are rough and tough. We come from the rags, you know, and that's when we step it up because we come in some, that's when we step it up, we come in some reggae riches. Step it up with Italian style because a crocodile can't spoil. So extra, I love it. All right, let's move on to some rhythms. Because I do love some dancehall vocals, but I think my heart and soul is rhythms. I love an instrumental, love a rhythm, and dancehall rhythms to me are just like, they encompass so many things and they're just so sick. And I just love the respect that is paid to rhythms within Jamaican culture and to instrumentals, which I think in most other genres are quite throwaway. It's so much focus on the vocal and on the artist, and the producer often takes a back seat. Like there was a project that my friend did recently with some St. Lucian and Dominican producers who make soca music, but like a really kind of like trap soca, this really fast kind of soca from like the streets. And he approached them about this project just releasing their instrumentals, and they couldn't believe it. They were like, "What? Why would you care about our instrumentals? That doesn't make any sense." And then they were just shocked that he gave a fuck basically, and he put it out, and it was great. And I was like, yeah, more respect to the producers. So We're gonna play some Steely and Clivey, who are my favourite dancehall producers. The rhythm battery of keyboardist Wycliffe Steely Johnson and drummer Cleveland Brown emerged as the dominant production team of the contemporary dancehall reggae era, lending their skills to records from acts from Shabba Ranks to Maxi Priest and Gregory Isaacs. They both played together for the first time at Lee Scratch's legendary Black Ark studio in the late 70s and immediately clicked, frequently teaming up for the years to follow, before becoming the house band at King Jammy Studio in 1986. They would cut upwards of 10 tracks a week behind artists like Coco T and Dennis Brown, and produce dancehall blasters like Tiger's When, Ting-a-Ling by Shabba Ranks, and also some soulful bits from Beres Hammond, and also Dawn Penn's classic No No No. Known as the Ragga Godfathers from the mid-80s until 2005, their sound and their productions have dominated the dancehalls. Steely and Clivey have also created the template, which up until today still forms the basis of many dancehall rhythms. So we'll play some instrumentals, some rhythms from Steely and Clivey. This one is 1991. The vocal is Hush from Tony Rebel, and this is the Steely and Clivey version.
I make me answer to me name. Hush. Somebody call mine. Hush. I make me answer to me name.
For revenge now.
Me serious. Make up me.
She say she love you and still love another man. After what that she say she a big woman, but if a disrespect me bring contention. I gonna need your body and she gonna be.
Tell them baby.
Solid as a rock. Watch the young girl.
You can also always find some, this is Digital B Records, loads of Steely and Clivey Digital B stuff, usually for really, really cheap in record stores. If you have a look in the dancehall section, they've got loads, normally like a few quid. Let's play another Steely and Clivey. This one is Prove, 1991.
loose this here, man. When it's about talking to you and you and God knows so. And them stop to the magazine and them stop to the profile. It's beer proofing. Yeah. Enemy and this a muggle pan enemy. Say friend, this a muggle pan friend. Tell us it's start and it can't end. The girl them broke, loose again, them a prove. No man them one another, them a prove. Who are the best bubbler? Them a prove. Put it at the dance area. Them a prove. Who are the best whiner? Them a prove. A muggle pan them one time lover. Them a prove. A muggle pan mate on the corner. Them a prove. In at the dance area. Them a prove. Who are the best bubbler? Say who jump out in at the dance center. I know the one where you call Anna. Well, the paralyzed she pray into Jah. Rock my body, move up and shoulder. Bend my back like a horse rider. Belly a turn like a caterpillar. And I broke, no for them one another. Them a broke, but in the dance area. Them a broke, who are the best bubbler. Them a broke, who are the best whiner. If a gal a try prove and it end up that she lose. This is what you say this is what you do. If a gal a try prove and it end up that she lose. This is what you say this is what you do. Say, nothing a go on for you. Nothing a go on for you. Pint pan she can't do you nothing. Pint a roach she can't do you nothing. Get up your skirt can't touch your button. Get up your skirt can't touch your button. But them a broke, no one them one another. Them a broke, put in a the dance area. Them a broke, the one that she run Canada. Them a broke, the one that she run America. Them a broke, the one that run London area. Them a broke, the one that she run Jamaica. Them a broke, who are the best bubbler. Them a broke, put in a the dance area. Them a broke, who are them doing a door key. Them a broke, the one that can knock your body. Them a broke, a muggle to step on the matey. One time gone was peer muggling. Then the next time was profiling. Well, them come a dance, them have a new thing. Come in at the place of the peer proving too. Enemy a this a muggle pound enemy. Say friend, this a muggle pound friend. Tell us to start and a hit can't end. The girl them broke, loose again. Them a broke, call it a muggle pan Marcia. Them a broke, Jennifer muggle pan Sandra. Them a broke, the one that she run Canada. Them a broke, the one that run London era. Them a broke, the one that run New York era. Them a broke, the one that run Jamaica. Them a broke, who are the best bubbler. Them a broke, who are them one a don't pay. That's the one she look so sexy. The other one she look so wiry. Black complexion of them beauty. White complexion of them beauty. But enemy a this a muggle pound enemy. Say friend, this a muggle pound friend. Tell us it start and I it can't end. The girl them broke, loose again. Them a broke.
That one, Prove. Steely and Clivey on the version, Reggie Stepper on the vocal. All right. So gonna close, I mean, there's still so much more obviously, but gonna close out maybe on another rhythm that is one of my all-time favorite rhythms, and it's called Pepper Seed, released in 1983 by Dave Kelly out of the Madhouse Studios. Features Frisco Kid, Spragga Benz, Louis Culture, Wayne Wonders on here, Chippy Ranks, bare names. This is a proper iconic rhythm. I'm going to play one of my favorite versions of it, which is Dapper, Daddy Screw and Donovan Still, and then hopefully you got time to end on number 2 on the same rhythm by Terra Fabulous. So now we're in proper 90s dance hall. Madhouse is also a wicked studio. If you look them up, so much great dancehall from there. This one, Dapper, Daddy Screw, Donovan Still, Pepper Seed rhythm.
This is not X-rated, but all the vibes are going to be exaggerate. If I never feel you in my arms again, big up the girl, cause she please me. If I never feel your tender kiss again, body and shape, she have a taste me. If I never hear I love you now, big up the girl, cause she please me. Will I never make love to you once again? Please understand if love, yeah. if you a dapper. All of the man when you okra and snapper. If you drink Guinness and you do your work proper, nobody can call you no back supper. Again, let me see your hand if you a dapper. All of the man when you okra and snapper. If you drink Guinness and you do your work proper, no girl can call you no back supper. Sing along.
Can't stop thinking about the way my life would be. No, I can't stop thinking about the style I give to she. And I can't get you out of my mind. God knows how hard I try. If she would walk right out my life, God knows I really cry. If I ever feel you in my arms again, if I ever feel your tender kiss again, if I never hear I love you now and then, girl, will I ever make love to you once again? Please understand, if love ain't, girl, I promise you that I should never breathe again. Alright.
Out of mercy, professional lover man we have confidence. Handle the body like a 190 Benz. Body a shank out, she collect dividends. Paddle at the gate and me jump over fence. Cry for the body so me feature the ends. She have to come back again. Youngsters, let me see the hand them who a damper. All of the man when you am okra and snapper. If you drink Guinness and you do your work proper, no girl can call you no back stopper. Again, let me see your hand if you a dapper. All of the man when you am okra and snapper. If you drink Guinness and you do your work proper, no girl can call you no back stopper. Sing along.
If I never feel you in my arms again,
pledge and
if I never feel your tender kiss again,
loving all night long.
if I never hear I love you now and then, I would never ride without the boots again. Please understand, like
Booty, bye, bye.
and I promise you that I will never leave again.
Likewise, one and another guys. Out of mercy, don't be tell me see your hand if you a dapper. All of the man when you am okra and snapper. If you drink Guinness and you do your work proper, no girl can call you no back stopper. Again, make me see your hand if you a dapper. All of the man when you am okra and snapper. If you drink your Guinness and you do your work proper, no girl can call you no back stopper. See ya.
Didn't quite get to 2000s, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, 90s dancehall is my, that's my soul in it. So that's mainly what I love to play, but also have lots of nice early 2000s stuff too, which, I don't know, next session I guess we'll get to hear. But I wanted to end on something that is an example of just how far reggae and dancehall reaches. And this is a Colombian record that I bought, I think it was in Platypus Records in Amsterdam. There's a track on here called, the whole thing is pretty much like ragga. There's a wicked track called Tiembla Tiembla by Winston Brown and Gabby, and I just love this because, yeah, it just shows how much of an impact Jamaican music has on the world. And I hope you guys have had a good time. Sick. I've had a lot of fun too. This one is 1992 on Ariola de Colombia.
El nuevo feeling del tiembla tiembla que vamos a todos a gozar. La temblando. ¿Cómo no? Vivo, vivo, Jerry. Baila no ritmo, tiembla, tiembla. Yo sé, mamacita, que te va a gustar. Baila nuevo paso, tiembla, tiembla. Que aquí está Gaby que te viene a preguntar. Porque yo te digo el nuevo ritmo temblando. No te creas que te estoy vacilando. Mira, mucha gente lo está gozando. Y en los bailes que quedan brincando, todas las flacas se están quebrando. Todas las gordas que están rebajando. Todos los chicos que están gozando. Mucha gente quisiera aprenderlo. Y las chicas que están instruyendo. Y si tu chico no baila este ritmo, mami, enséñale. Y sin egoísmo te digo, mamacita, es toda la verdad. Este baile único y original. En Brasil, Curazao, se baila en Venezuela y también en Panamá. Aquí está Gaby que te viene a pregonar con el nuevo ritmo, tiembla, tiembla de Panamá. Aquí está Gaby que te viene a rapear con este rapeo que suena original. Y voy a poner a todos a temblar porque yo te digo que sensacional. ¿Cómo no? Baila el nuevo ritmo, tiembla, tiembla. Yo sé, mamacita, que te va a gustar. Baila el nuevo paso, tiembla, tiembla. Que aquí está Gaby que te viene a pregonar. En el bus, en el tren, en la radio y en el taxi también. Donde vayas, mamita, lo vas a escuchar. Y yo te aseguro te pondrás a temblar. Le dirás al show que la pague y no podrá, porque también se va a contagiar y él se va a poner a temblar. Y es en el baile donde vas a gozar. Dice no, yo te digo que el baile original es original y es original. Ven, mamacita, que te vengo a pregonar, es original y es original. Aquí está Gaby que te viene a rapear, es original y es original. Baila el nuevo ritmo, tiembla, tiembla. Yo sé, mamacita, que te va a gustar. Baila el nuevo paso, tiembla, tiembla. Que aquí está Gaby que te viene a pregonar. Mueve el cuerpo, mueve la cadera, mueve la cabeza y también los pies, porque este ritmo es una nitidez. Grandes y chicos lo bailan también, porque contagioso y fenomenal. Recuerda, mamacita, que la idea es temblar. Dice no, yo te digo que el baile original es original y es original. Aquí está Gaby que te viene a pregonar, es original, es original. Gaby, mami, es duro de matar, es original y es original. Baila nuevo ritmo, tiembla, tiembla. Yo sé, mamacita, que te va a gustar. Baila nuevo paso, tiembla, tiembla. Que aquí está Gaby que te viene a pregonar. Yeah, man.
Little dembow, reggaeton energy from Colombia, obviously inspired by Jamaican dancehall. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.